Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. You might recall that in the last video I dyed some fabric using RIT dye for the first time, and it was for this project, my graduation outfit. So I made this skirt to wear for graduation, and then I made this top to go with it. So this video will walk you through the process of me sewing this skirt. For most of it, classic me, I forgot to film the last step of adding the waistband, but just know that did happen. And then I didn't film as much as me sewing this top, so I will talk more about it when we get to there. But without further ado, let's jump into how I sewed this skirt for my college graduation. This is the vintage pattern that I'm going to be using to make my skirt for graduation with. Now, it is technically too small for me. It's a size 12, and according to their size chart, my waist is a 28, so I would need a size 16. However, there are gores in this pattern, and I have measured on the pattern piece from seam allowance to seam allowance in this inside here, and it's 8 inches. Now 8 times 4, the 4 pieces that you need, is 32. So if I mess around with the gores a little bit, it should fit me still. If I ignore them or put one gore on each side or do something, I will figure it out. But the important thing is, I think that this skirt will work. So I'm going to be doing that. The instructions for this pattern tell you to fold your fabric in half, which I have done, and then to place this pattern piece right on top and then cut out the pattern pieces at the same time as you're cutting out your fabric. I think it's kind of an ingenious idea. This pattern is marked as simple to make with unit construction, so it's meant for beginner seamstresses. So that's really cool, the way that you can just put this on there. And obviously when you fold it over, that means it's going to like reverse the 2 pieces. Sort of like if you have a pattern piece where it's like cut on the fold, so that it cuts, you're cutting half of it, but you're really cutting the whole thing. It's like that, except you are cutting 2 pieces because you're cutting beyond the fold. So I'm gonna set this up. I did find a hole in the fabric here. There's like a little hole fraying, but I tried to put it down by the corner here so that I either like cut through it or it's like in the hem, or, you know, just so that I can hide it. I don't see any holes, other holes so far. So that's very lucky. Also, the waistband for this, I haven't measured that yet, but that is a waistband that's designed for like a 25-inch waist, which again, I'm not, but that's a very easy thing to lengthen if I need to. So I'm going to move this pattern on top of my fabric, and then we are going to pin it and cut it out. Okay, you guys, this is how I have the pattern set up. I figured the tissue paper was a little too fragile for pins. I feel like if I put pins in it, it would just rip a bunch of holes. There's already a big hole forming along this crease here. So I just used some candles as pattern weights. And I'm gonna cut it this way. I don't know with this method how much fabric waste there's gonna be, or what weird shaped scraps of this fabric I'm gonna have, but you know me, I will find a way to use whatever fabric I have left over eventually. If I quilt it into something or just use it in a different project, it will be used, I promise. So we're gonna get started cutting out these 2 skirt pieces, and then I have to figure out what to do with the waistband. And that will probably be all I do today because I don't have a thread that matches this color and I want to get a matching thread and a zipper. Hey guys, I have a progress update on my skirt. So here's where we're at. I have sewed the front 2 panels together and the back 2 panels together, and then I have sewed a pocket into the left side of the skirt, and I'm only sewing it into this one side because on the other side is going to be the zipper, and it is possible to add a pocket where you have a zipper, but I don't know how to do that, and I definitely do not have time to figure it out for this project. So we have a pocket, just one. So all that's left is to sew up the side with the pocket, sew up the side with the zipper, sew in the zipper, sew on the waistband, make sure that it fits my waist, and then hem the bottom, and then the skirt will be done. Oh, I only have a few steps left. We are so close, you guys, but I don't know if I'm gonna finish them all today because it's tech weekend. It's tech weekend for our play. So I do a rehearsal today and a choir concert to attend. So I've got things going on, but slowly and surely the skirt is being sewn up. All right, you guys, I am at the part of sewing my skirt where I have gotten to the zipper seam, and I saw this TikTok that has a method that I'm going to try, where you sew normally until you reach where your zipper's gotta go, and then you like back stitch, and then the rest is a basting stitch on your longest length. And then you press the seam open, pin the zipper into place, which you see that I've done. And then I'm going to baste this into place and then sew it with my zipper foot on the machine. Also, I have on the inside of these seams where the zipper is going added some interfacing, which is probably not going to look pretty from the inside, but I figured that since this is a thin cotton, the zipper might pull at the cotton and fray it over time. So I just wanted a little bit of extra support, so I put some interfacing in there. And then once I have this zipper in, then I can try the skirt on and see if I need to add any of those darts in. So yeah, those are my next steps. Woo! Okay, hello everyone. This is a skirt progress video. As you can see, I've got the zipper sewed in, and I'm just figuring out how big I need to make the darts, and they're really not that big at all. Each one is 3/4 of an inch because I needed to take in 3 inches from the skirt in order to make it fit my waist and still have like enough room in here to like eat food on graduation day. So as you can see, they're very tiny, but I've pinned them all in place and the skirt does fit me. It's not too tight, so like I said, I can party all I want on graduation day. So yeah, now I just gotta sew these tiny little guys in place. And then it will be time for the waistband and to hem the skirt, and then she will be done. Ah. Okay, so now let's talk about this top. This top is inspired by a triangle top pattern, which I will link below. However, I self-drafted the shape for this top, and I did that by just holding muslin up to my body and then drawing with a marker where I wanted it to go. And then I used the mock-up that I made out of muslin as pattern pieces for this top. This top is made with a light pink double cotton gauze, or bubble gauze you may hear it called as, and it features a lovely sort of lace up corset tie in the back, which of course nobody saw at graduation, but I had an after party at my house, and that's when I let everyone see the back of this top. So yeah, this is just a double gauze from Joann's. Very simple construction, easy to make for yourself. It's not perfect. There's some weird gathering going on in the back. I probably should have added some darts in here, but it's fine, and it looked great, and everyone loved my outfit on graduation. And of course, green and pink are the school colors. My school doesn't really use pink a lot. I think they're scared. I think they're scared to use a feminine color, if I'm being honest. But for ceremonies like graduation, pink is acceptable. And it's also my favorite color of the school colors, so I had to pull out the pink and the green, of course, for my school. And then for my graduation cap, I just found some fabric flowers from Michaels and made this little flower crown. It's actually, all of these are glued onto a ribbon that I then tied around the hat. So this actually can be removed from the cap if I ever want to remove it. And when I crossed the stage, the president of my university said that I had the best hat. So I think I won. I think I won graduation. I think I won. So yeah, this is how I made my outfit for graduation. I'm so happy that I made my own outfit. It was just one more thing to be proud of on a day where I got to be proud of everything that I did the last 4 years. It was really amazing. So I graduated with a BFA in musical theater with a minor in dance and a minor in sustainability studies. And as you can see from this medal, I did graduate with academic honors. I graduated with summa cum laude, and I checked my final grades, and that is now official. So I officially have summa cum laude. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a good day and a great summer, and I will see you next time. Bye. My sister has the prettiest room in the house with the best natural lighting, so I'm filming in here. I do this a lot. Whenever I have a self-tape audition that I have to film in my parents' house, I am usually in my sister's room filming it.